Okay, then next we have emergency president rule or constitutional emergency. Okay, in the previous class we discussed in detail regarding national emergency under Article 352. Now president rule is under Article 356. So before that, first we must understand what is Article 355. Article 355 impose a duty on the center. Okay, that means according to the Article 355, it is the duty of the central government to make sure that, or to check or to examine that in each and every state it is running according to the provision of the constitution, or the state is running, is administrating or running according to the provision of the constitution. It is the duty of the state to check. Okay, that is there. And under Article 356, what is that? Under Article 356 says that if in a state the administration is not running according to the constitution, at that time this emergency can be imposed. When there is a failure of the constitutional machinery in the state, then president rule can be imposed on that particular state. That is mentioned in Article 356, which is called popularly known as president rule. Remember, we don't have any state emergency. That word state emergency, it is nowhere mentioned in constitution. National emergency, constitutional emergency, or president rule, and financial emergency only. Okay, so what are the grounds of imposition that we discuss? 356, what is that? It is under Article 356, president can issue the proclamation. President can issue the proclamation if president satisfied. If president satisfies that a situation arisen in the government of a state where the government of the state or the state machinery is not according to it is not running according to the provision of the constitution. Now, how president will get to know? Governor will give report to the president. Governor will give report to the president, or without giving the report by the governor to the president, if president satisfied himself that in a particular state the state machinery is failed to implement the constitutional provisions, okay, at that time president can proclaim the president rule or this emergency under Article 356. 365 is also there. What is that? Center will give direction to the state. Okay, and state is against those direction, and state is not following the direction given by the center, or state is against that direction, then at that time also president can think that the state is not according with the constitution. State is not following the constitution, and this emergency can be proclaimed on that particular state. Okay, so the direction which is given by the central government to the state government has to follow. If they are going against that direction, that is also comes under the violation of provision of the constitution. That is mentioned in Article 365. Got it? Now, approval of the parliament. So what is that? A proclamation. Who will do the proclamation? President. And that proclamation must be approved by both the houses of the parliament within 2 months from the date of its proclamation or issue. In national emergency, 1 month. And here within 2 months of its proclamation. And here simple majority is required, not special majority. Special majority for national emergency. For president rule, simple majority. What if Lok Sabha is dissolved when this emergency proclaimed? No problem, no issue. Same condition we have studied in national emergency, right? Meanwhile, Rajya Sabha passed the resolution or approved the resolution. Then let's newly Lok Sabha form, and within 30 days of the first meeting of the newly Lok Sabha, they need to give approval to this emergency, which is president rule. Okay, then what is that? If it is approved by both the houses of the parliament, that it is continued till 6 months. National emergency also same thing, right? It will continue till 6 months. National emergency, it is for indefinite period, but with the approval of parliament for every 6 months. But in case of president rule, okay, once the proclamation of president rule has been approved by both the houses of the parliament, it is still 6 months. After 6 months, once again parliament can approve, but maximum period of 3 years only. Maximum period of 3 years. It should not be more than 3 years. National emergency, no definite one. You have seen, na? 1971 till 1977. Okay, there is no limit period. But in case of president rule, it should not be more than 3 years. Now, 44th Amendment Act, it made some changes. What is that changes? According to this amendment, it says that if president rule has to impose more than 1 year in a state, okay, then that president rules can be imposed more than 1 year in a state based upon two conditions. What is that two condition? First, national emergency should already there. National emergency is also there. In state also they declare the emergency. National emergency is declared for 2 to 3 years. And here 1 year is there now. So above 1 year if they want to declare means national emergency also should be proclaimed at that time. So national emergency, state emergency can be extended more than 1 year. That is first condition. Second condition is that if election commission of India, okay, make a report that election is not possible in that particular state due to the difficulties. Election is not possible. Then president rule can impose or extend on that particular state beyond 1 year. So these are the two conditions. Okay, then revoke. What about the revocation? So president can revoke that proclamation at any time. Parliament approval is not required. In national emergency also parliament approval is not required, but Lok Sabha has to pass the resolution, right? But here there is no such thing. President can revoke the proclamation of president rule at any time. Okay, that is there. Then what about the consequences? Consequences. So here president acquired the extraordinary power. What is that extraordinary power? President can take up the function of state government and power which are vested in the governor. President will take over the functionality of the state government, and whatever the governor power is there, that will also taken by the president, or any executive authority which is there in the state. Those executive authority power also will be taken up by the president only. Okay, and president can declare that the power of state legislature is there, that has to be given to the parliament. Here executive power, here legislature power given to president will take the executive power. Here legislature power will be taken by the Parliament of India, or he can take all other necessary steps including the suspension of constitutional provisions related to any body or authority within the state. That also he can do. State Finance Commission we have, that is also a constitutional body, right? So that can be done. Suspension of those constitutional provisions of those body, president can do that one. Okay, and in short, see, the thing is that whole state will under the control of the president or governor, if president will allot that power to the governor or any other authority, rather than within the state or council of minister. And remember one thing, what is that here? Compulsory council of ministers are there, along with the prime minister has to resign. Whenever the president rule impose, then this council of minister has to resign. Okay, or they will be dismisses. Generally they resign. If they won't resign, president dismiss them. But legislature won't be dissolved. Assembly is there, Assembly won't be dissolved. See, assembly is different and chief minister and council of ministers are different. Same at center, Lok Sabha is different and prime minister and council of ministers are different. Right. So here in case of state emergency, state council of minister has to resign or dismiss. Okay. But assembly won't be dissolved. Please remember this point. Assembly won't be dissolved. Local body governments are there. We have urban local bodies, BBMP. that won't dissolve. Or we have this Panchayat Raj institution, Village Panchayat, Mandal Parishad, Zilla Parishad, that won't be dissolved. And assembly compulsory won't be dissolved. In a rare cases, the assembly will dissolve. That will also decided by the parliament. Remember, assembly, it is not compulsory to dissolve. But what is the compulsory? This council of ministers. And administration of the state will be either the governor along with the chief secretary of the state or any advisor which is appointed by the president. And same here, assembly may be dissolved or suspended. And that will be decided by the parliament. Okay, that thing is there. The next under article 357, what is that? Parliament can take the legislature power. Okay, that means in simple language, parliament not take here, parliament can give legislature power on the president and authorize president or any authority to sanction expenditure from consolidated fund of the state. Hey, consolidated fund of India we discuss. To take the money from that, appropriation bill has to introduce at central level. At state level also consolidated fund of state is there, right? The fund has to money has to take from that fund, right? But assembly is dissolved. Who will do that one? President or any other authority. Understood? Got the point? Okay, so this is effect of state emergency. Then there is a one famous case, that is SR Bombay case, Karnataka only. SR Bombay case. So in this case, Supreme Court has given certain points, okay, that related to president rule. What is that? It says that no restriction on court for examining the material on basis of which president form his satisfaction. In simple language, if the president rule proclaim, then case can be filed. And court can check on what basis president issue the proclamation. Okay, that thing only it is. And proclamation comes under the judicial review. Proclamation comes under judicial review. Judiciary will check whether the proclamation is right or not, or whether it is a malified and all those things. National emergency we discuss, Minerva Mills case, like that only. And Supreme Court or High Court can strike down that proclamation, can declare that proclamation illegal if the court, which court, Supreme Court or High Court, find that the proclamation is malified or based upon the irrelevant grounds or illogical grounds. So court has that power. These things issued by the Supreme Court in this case. And under Article 356, that is a condition power, not an absolute power, it is mentioned. So Article 356, President has that power, right? Okay, so that is not absolute power. Restrictions are also there. Based upon that particular condition only, President can proclaim. Not just by telling Prime Minister, President cannot proclaim this. It has happened before that. That is the reason why. Okay, when central government different party, state government different party, then the relation between those center and state is not good, then Prime Minister will tell to the President to proclaim this President rule. So that's why Supreme Court clearly mentioned it is condition power, not an absolute power. And in this case also, Supreme Court made a rule that President cannot dissolve the state assembly until unless Parliament approve this proclamation. Until unless proclamation passed by the Parliament, President cannot dissolve the assembly. We discussed now, assembly won't be dissolved or won't be suspended. That Parliament has to decide. Okay, and before introducing this proclamation, center should give warning to the error-making state. The state which is making an fault or error, warning should be given. Directly they cannot impose this President rule. And once the proclamation is issued, then state government has to resign. State government has to resign. In a state, there cannot be a two government body. Like state government is also exist and central government is also ruling the state. No. When proclamation issued, state government has to resign. That means chief minister along with the council of ministers. That is only state government, right? So they need to resign. And in this case only, Supreme Court says that secularism is the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. If the state is violating the secularism, if the state is violating the secularism of the Constitution, then Article 356 can be invoked. Means state is violating the secularism, President can issue the proclamation of President rule. Okay, clearly Supreme Court mentioned this. And what are the proper use of this President rule in SR Bommai case? What is that proper use in case of hung assembly or no party got the majority? You know, hung assembly, hung parliament, when a particular party is unable to form the government, at that time coalition will be there, right? So that is a hung assembly. Right, this party join together, and at that time, and when there is a hung assembly and none of the party is able to prove the majority, then President can issue this or proclaim this emergency. And when any party is having majority in the state assembly, but they are declined to form the ministry, they are declined to form the ministry or a coalition of the ministry, at that time proclamation can be declared, and the constitutional direction given by the center, but it is disagreed by the state, proclaim or issue this emergency. Subversion is there. Example, government is intentionally, deliberatively acting against the constitution or the law. Intentionally, deliberatively means intentionally. If the intentionally government is acting against the constitution or law, or violating, okay, or revolting, then this article 356 can be imposed. And where there is a physical breakdown, where the government is willfully refused to discharge its constitutional obligation. In constitution, certain duty given to the state, but state is intentionally, okay, not doing that duty or not fulfilling that duty, then at that time this can be imposed. Okay, the next, improper use, when this cannot be imposed. Proper use we discuss. Improper use, when minister resign or dismiss by losing the majority support, okay, without the possibility of forming alternative government. Sometime what will happen, 2 to 3 party will form the government, one party will withdraw the support, so majority gone, suddenly they cannot introduce the president rule. Give some time to those ministers who have resigned, they can talk with the other party and again they can form the coalition government. Okay, so in that situation it should not be proclaimed. Okay, improper use of this one, and allowing the minister to prove the majority on the floor of the assembly. In assembly, allow the minister to prove the majority, not outside the media. Outside means media only or somewhere else or governor office. No. In assembly only, let the ministers to prove the majority. Okay. Internal disturbance not amounting to internal subvention or physical breakdown. So whenever there is a internal disturbance, not internal subvention, means when state is going against the constitution, not in that way. Internal disturbance is protest is going on in the state, or violence is going on, riots is going on, right? That is internal disturbance. So if the internal disturbance is there, don't use this article. Okay, use this during internal subversion only. Maladministration or allegation of corruptions are there, at that time also don't use this article. Okay, and state government before central government should give warning to the state before proclamation of this article 356. So these are the improper use of Article 356 and this is proper use of Article 356. See, many state this in many states president rule imposed. Okay, but Telangana is a newly formed state, 2014, right? So till now it is not imposed in Telangana. Got it? And Sarkaria Commission give recommendation. What is that? According to this commission, Article 356 should be used in a rare cases. Okay, or should be used in a last solution or a last resort, not suddenly. First talking should be there, give warning and to the state. Then if they are continuing, use this one. Okay. And this assembly should not be dissolved till the proclamation rectified by parliament. Rectified by parliament is there, or any imposition of their right, any imposition of this emergency. Okay, that imposition should be based upon the reports by the governor to president. Okay, it is just a recommendation rather than directly president is imposing. No, let governor give the report. In that report, if the state is default, at that time proclaim this emergency. Otherwise don't. Okay, so this is about president rule.